Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Live Well podcast. On today's episode, we are going to be discussing gut health. And yes, we will be talking about poop. Now, you may be wondering, why gut health? Why is this important? Now, oftentimes, we experience digestive problems such as bloating, gas, or even constipation, and we tend to take medication or look for quick fixes to try to alleviate the symptoms. But sometimes there can be underlying issues that directly links to gut health. Now, it's not that I'm saying every time you experience these symptoms that it has to be gut health issues, but it is something that's worth exploring. So today, to help, talk about this some more, we have with us Kezia Philip. Hi Kezia, and welcome. So Kezia, would you like to tell everyone a bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Kezia Philip, Health Promotion Specialist, Registered Dietitian. I've been in the field of health education for about 20 years or so, getting old.
20 years?
Yeah, just about. And I'm a registered dietitian in private practice, and my purpose is to help women and their families to achieve well-being through nutrition that includes our local foods that we totally enjoy, because I believe that food is life and life is to be enjoyed.
And who doesn't love food, right? We're going to talk about gut health today. But firstly, I think we need to start from the basics. What is our gut?
So our gut basically is a kind of complex system. So we say gut, but we really mean the gastrointestinal tract, GI tract for short. And it really starts from our mouth. It includes our stomach, small intestines, large intestines, the colon, straight to the rear end. And it's really important, one of the functions would be to digest your food, to absorb nutrients, as well as to eliminate waste.
I like that we start from the basic. Now, gut health, when you think about gut health, persons usually just think about, having healthy or regular bowel movements. But the amazing and beautiful thing about gut health is that it's linked to so many different other parts of our bodies. So what are some of the ways that gut health, impacts or has a part to play in the other parts of our body?
Well, gut health really involves prevention of non-communicable chronic diseases, or known as NCDs. That includes colon cancer. It also helps with regulation of mood.
Really?
So the gut actually has about 80% or so serotonin, the feel-good hormone receptors, and the microorganisms or the microbes in the gut actually produces serotonin as well. So it helps to regulate our mood, and it's also important for immunity. Mm-hmm. So there are three other functions or importance of the gut that I don't think we talk about much.
No, we don't, especially that gut-brain connection. It's interesting that our gut and our brain, they are in constant communication with each other. And sometimes we have a saying, I have a gut feeling about this. Now that we know that there is that connection, there may be some truth to that statement. We say that, but we don't actually know what's causing it. But as you said, our mood, sometimes different mental health conditions can actually be due to some sort of gut health issue.
Yes, it could be gut related. So they call the gut the second brain. As you say, there is communication between the gut and the brain. And think about that butterfly in your stomach, that kind of thing. Think about when you eat certain foods, it feels good.
Yeah.
So if you have high carbohydrates, that actually helps to release serotonin, right? High protein, dopamine. Dopamine is also a pleasure hormone as well.
Right.
And some research shows that if you have a diet low in omega-3 or you're deficient in omega-3, you actually suffer from depression and low mood. So there really is a connection between the gut and the brain, as well as with the mood and feelings and emotions.
So see everyone, when you have a gut feeling, there may be some truth behind it, because your gut does affect, your mood, your feelings, those sorts of things. Now that brings us to the third one, and that is the healthy bowel movement. So how exactly does our gut health have a direct impact on this?
So you look back when you wipe?
But of course now, I do know some persons, when I had this conversation recently with people, they were appalled that you look back at your poop
Yeah, but then how you going to know how your poop looking, if it looking healthy, if it looking normal, if something is wrong. But I know a lot of people don't look back.
Do you analyze it like, maybe I had like too much fat yesterday, you know?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I'm just making sure, you know, I'm not the only weirdo out there.
Yeah. So I mean, there are different things. Of course, your diet, your hydration level, amount of water you have. Those things, sleep, stress. All those things affect your poop and how your poop looks. So there's something called a Bristol stool chart.
Okay, right. Tell me more about it.
So there are 7 types. So the first one, you all know those hard little pellet like poop.
Yeah.
Right? So that's type 1. And then type 2 is when it's like little clumps of pellets. They're broken up, coming out, and that indicates constipation actually.
Okay.
So of course it could be a result of dehydration or low fiber as well. And then the healthy poop would be like sausage like. So think about like, may have a little lumpy, think about like corn.
Right.
Corn. Yeah, like a corn on the cob. And then a smooth sausage, that's type 3 and 4. So those are considered to be healthy. And then there it's 5, 6, and 7 when we go into diarrhea. Okay. So if it's coming out like little blobs but in a defined shape, right? Porridge-like, right? So that'll be like type 6, and then 7 be like gravy, just a liquid. So that's like a extreme form of diarrhea.
Right.
Yeah. So it's important. You have to look back, and you have to look back to take a look at to see the shape. Of course, if you're forcing it, of course it could be constipated. Yeah. So it's supposed to be easy to pass. You're not supposed to be able to spend half an hour on your phone on the pass. You know what I mean? Trying to pass.
I feel like a lot of people do that. You sit on your phone and you scroll, and they actually recommend that you don't do that.
Exactly.
That you get up, walk away, maybe do something else, and come back. Yes.
Yeah. About 5 minutes, no longer, because then you're going to put pressure, and that will increase the risk of getting hemorrhoids. Yeah.
Right. So we spoke about the types now. What about color? Should we be looking at the color as well?
Yes, you have to look at color as well. So I was going through a body phase last week. I don't know what I should feel for body. So my poop was green.
Right.
So if it's green, then more than likely it's going to be food related. If it's black, if it is you're not taking an iron supplement, because iron supplements make the poop look black, then you're going to have to cause to be concerned, because it could be an upper GI bleed, some kind of high up in the tract. Yeah.
In that case, you seek medical
attention. So if you're not on iron supplements and your poop looking black, then it could be cause for concern. And then it could be red. Again, if you're not eating beetroot and you poop.
Honestly, that happened to me recently.
You didn't panic?
No, because I tried to think about, all the foods I was having. I'm like, wait, I had beetroot, 2-3 days back to back. And I'm like,
Yeah, right. So if you're not eating beets and it's red, then that is like a lower GI bleed. So then it could be bleeding in your colon, it could be hemorrhoids, it could be early signs of cancer, it could be polyps or something like that in your colon. So again, cause for concern, seek medical attention.
Good. So we need to look at the type, and we also need to look at the color.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that last type where it's more like diarrhea.
Yeah.
Now, diarrhea over extended period of time is not okay. It can lead to dehydration, as you said. But what about when you get diarrhea, for example, during menstruation? Is that a cause for concern?
No, but we call it period poop.
I know. Honestly, I thought that was like a inside girl thing where I have experience in period poops.
Everybody gonna know about it. Not a cause for concern. So of course, during the menstrual cycle, there are changes with your estrogen and your progesterone, those hormones, and they just affect the gut, and the gut say, hey, let's make this a little watery. So it's not cause for concern.
So you don't have to be worried. That's not a sign of you having some sort of bowel issue. No. It will usually regularize after.
Yeah, on its own. Yeah.
So now that we know, the impact that gut health has on different parts of our bodies, how do we ensure that our gut health is like top tier?
So, but before we go to that, we need to talk about frequency.
Oh my!
So we talk about the form. We talk about color. We need to talk about frequency. So I'm a regular girl.
Same.
Yeah. So I go about twice a day. I know people go 3 times a day, but actually, few times a week, medically speaking, is okay. So if you go every other day, that's
medically speaking.
Yeah, it's not a course for a doctor not going to say, hey, something is wrong with you if you're going every other day. For me, I want to know where the waste going.
Thank you. Personally speaking, I would not be okay with that. I mean, even though it's not like a cause for medical concern, where is it? Am I backed up?
It's just staying there. What's happening to it? This is affecting my body. I feel like my whole body is being polluted.
And you'll experience that bloating too.
Yeah. Some people do experience that bloating. Sometimes the stomach might actually feel like a little stiff.
Yes, distended. Correct.
Yeah. But at least once a day or every other day, that is fine. Of course, if it's going days on end, then you should seek medical attention. More than likely will be dehydration or not enough fiber in the diet.
Good. So now that we covered all the areas, how do we ensure that our gut health is top tier?
Right, so we just need to make sure we have a variety of foods, which is most important. So you want to have fiber-rich foods, so that would be from your vegetables, your fruits, peas and beans, seeds, nuts, right, whole grains. Those will make sure that you are regular, make sure that you have good form, right? You also want to have like fermented foods, so you think about yogurt, kombucha, that's a little popular these days. People have the kimchi and all too.
Yes.
Here, so those type of foods. You want to make sure you're drinking adequate water, as well. Exercise helps with your bowel movement. Stress management, because if you are stressed, we talk about that whole gut feeling and that gut-brain connection. So if you are stressed or you're not sleeping well, that actually affects your bowels and your bowel movements. So to make sure it's top tier, we need to exercise, we need to eat a variety of foods, so high fiber foods as well as some fermented foods, which should have adequate water, stress management and rest.
Now that you mentioned, the types of foods that we need to have, it kind of brings up the point now, which I know there's so much on like social media and a lot of research showing, prebiotics and probiotics. So can you maybe help differentiate for our listeners, what exactly is prebiotic and what is considered a probiotic?
Right. So prebiotics really referring to your fiber-rich foods. So same thing I mentioned, the vegetables, the fruits, right, the whole grains, legumes, right, and the probiotics. So let me just back up a little bit. So your prebiotics would help with feeding the bacteria in the gut, and so the probiotics would actually be bacteria in the food, in the fermented food, as I mentioned before, the yogurt, your kimchi, that kind of thing, and that would introduce bacteria into the body. So that's the difference between the two, both important for gut health. Okay,
so just to summarize that, the prebiotic is the food for the bacteria, which is the probiotic. Right. Yeah. So that's the difference there. And prebiotics, you can get it, as you said, from all your fruits and vegetables. Interestingly enough, there was a study that was conducted to show, the different, how much do we need to eat for the week, for example, to ensure that we are getting enough prebiotics. And the study showed that at least 30 varieties for the week. When you think about it, 30 sounds like a large number, but what it was saying is that it could actually include your spices, your herbs, any fruit, any vegetables. So I sat down and I was actually thinking, what am I eating for the week? You eat red beans, you eat, you might put parsley in your food, and you would actually find that by the end of the week, you easily hit that 30. So as you said, variety is definitely important. You mentioned probiotics, so that brings me to a controversial question.
Controversy, I like.
Should we be taking probiotic supplements, or let me rephrase, do we have to take probiotic supplements?
So, food first. That is my philosophy.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, food first. So you can get it from food, as we mentioned, the foods already. So, but only if there is still an issue. Of course, you need to make sure medical attention, right, based on medical advice, if you need a supplement. But you can get it from food. As I just said, if you have a variety. So I love pigeon peas, but I will force myself to eat black-eyed peas from time to time. Like, just to make sure that I'm having a variety, because I know better. So I want to make sure I have whatever fruits in season, different foods, and, try those fermented foods, yogurt, that kind of thing. I just want to make sure you have a variety, and that will be sufficient to help.
with mentioning yogurt, and yes, yogurt is, we know it's a very common probiotic. It's one of the easiest ones, to access. I think the key there is that, like, when you're looking at yogurt, to make sure in the back it says live and active cultures. There are so many different brands on the market now, and if you really want to make sure that you're getting that probiotic in, I think it's important that you turn around the label and read live and active cultures.
Yeah, most important.
And in terms of the probiotic supplements, you mentioned, food first, which is great. I strongly believe that as well, because I don't think the issue is too much the probiotic, because your body naturally has, a community there already.
Yes.
The population might be low, or if you eat, like the yogurt and stuff, you could add some new bacteria into there. But if you're not feeding it, is it going to grow and thrive? I think the issue that, we don't realize is that we need to fix the environment first before you try to put, more bacteria or more probiotics in there.
Yeah.
All right, so Kezia, thank you so much for discussing this very important topic with us. What are some key takeaways you would like listeners to leave with today?
I would say, number one, you want to eat fiber-rich foods, a variety of fiber-rich foods. Number two, you want to have some fermented foods.
Right.
And number three, you need to drink enough water.
So hydration is very, very important.
Yes.
And as you would have mentioned earlier as well, just keep in mind that while those things affect gut health, there are other factors as well. We mentioned stress. Also, physical activity helps with bowel movements as well. So all those things play a part in ensuring that you have optimum gut health. Yes?
Yes.
And remember, please, going forward, look at your poop. It tells a lot, okay? You can learn a lot from your poop. So thank you, everyone, and thank you again, Kezia.